It's 6 o'clock, if you'd like to start.
He's right.
I will call this meeting to order,
Time?
6 o'clock.
And a roll call. Director Davis.
Here.
Director Green.
He's out ill.
Okay. Director Beatty.
Haven't heard from him.
He stated he was sick. He would not.
Oh, baby did.
Yeah.
No.
I heard from him.
Okay. Thought you said Green.
Director Smiley.
So Director Green is out sick too.
Director Smiley.
Here.
Director Sangster.
Present.
Got a quorum, 3.
Okay, we have approval of the regular meeting agenda. Would you like to make a motion?
I'll second.
Sorry.
Yes.
If I may, I would suggest continuing the closed session to the next meeting since we have such a sparse board,
Okay.
but that's up to you guys.
Okay. I would motion to approve the agenda as written, with the exception of moving the closed session items to November.
A second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed? Hearing none.
Yes, pledge allegiance. Director Davis.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, do we have any public comment for items that are not on the agenda?
Mr. B, like to comment?
Yes?
Okay. I just got a comment pertaining to the September 28th board meeting. September board meeting, Director Smiley admitted driving by my house 3 to 4 times a day. He also admitted to taking pictures of my place of employment, making contact with my employer about my contract. I don't have a contract. Now my wife, she's been dealing with a few health issues, and she found out about this drive-bys 3 or 4 times a day. Kind of upset her. Director Smiley admitted he has pictures of the house where I work. The buildings, the houses are at least 1 mile from the highway. So I would like to see those pictures, and then I would also like to know how he got in there in order to take the pictures. Director Smiley also admitted to having my contract of employment. I don't have a contract of employment with my employer. He also mentioned my employer's name at the board meeting and said he had talked to her. This also is very upsetting, as she just recently lost her father. She then called me and was not very happy with this situation. Rod has been harassing me and my employer to the point where my job is possibly in jeopardy. I guess, does the C.S.D. want a person on the board that lies, trespasses, and harasses people? Now this all can be, it's directly off the video. This is not, none of this is made up. and you go to YouTube, the September 28th board meeting, it's along toward the end of section 3. Everything that I mentioned here came directly from him. Thank you.
Any other public comment for items not on the agenda? All right, we will move on to non-district reports. San Luis Obispo County organizations.
Good evening, Senator Raza, North Station Commander for the Sheriff's Office. Reports for last month last year, for the year, we had 129 reports at this time for this month, or for last month. We are up 192 this year. For last month alone, we are at 20 reports. We had 6 calls for service for assault and battery. 5 reports were taken. We had 12 calls for disturbances, 2 for burglary. 1 report was taken. 2 calls for theft. 1 report was taken. 4 for vandalism. 1 report. No scams, and we had 12 calls for suspicious circumstances, in which 3 reports were taken. One of the other things I wanted to report about for last month was the San Miguel Car Show. We were approached on just having more presence and more enforcement there for the car show for the individuals that aren't law-abiding as it comes to their driving. So we partnered up with CHP. Well, it's theirs. Roads are there. So we partnered up with them. So I want to say they had 3 or 4 units. The commander also went out. I dedicated 2 deputies as well. And the advisory council yesterday reported that they got feedback saying that we were appreciated. There was a super short pursuit. We got like 2 replica firearms out of there. It was a DUI driver. And then we had 2 citations, and then I can't remember how many CHP had, but it seems that the message was clear in that you can have your car show, it's unsanctioned, but you can't violate rules of the road. So I'm just happy to report that we had a 0 tolerance, and for the most part we had good feedback. I don't know if anybody here has any feedback, but as usual, if there is something that needs our attention, just get a hold of us, and we'll see what we can do and pay attention to it. Okay? Are there any questions for me?
Just comment, very much appreciated on the extra effort for the car event, and I've been there myself in past times, and it's been a little Wild West and out of control, so having some extra presence makes a big difference, I'm sure.
And please let us know. Sometimes it's like, how do you not know? Everybody knows. Sometimes we don't know. We might be paying attention to something in Shandon or Creston or Santa Margarita, so, because apparently these are the every 5th Friday?
The fifth Friday.
5th Friday, and not every month has a 5th Friday, right? But it sounds like for the most part it was even positive on social media, because they're trying to make it just a fun event and not have people come and ruin it for everybody else. So I'm glad to hear that. Anything else, just let us know, and we'll put our attention to it as best we can.
Okay, one question. With our numbers being up, was a similar trend seen with other communities in the area, or just San Miguel?
Just San Miguel. My clerk was telling me about Atascadero, but I'll be honest, I don't follow social media for Atascadero. I mean, that's, not my jurisdiction, but I think they've had their challenges as well. So it just depends. I think they just pick the city where they go.
Okay.
So, that we know for the sheriff's office, only here in San Miguel.
Okay. Great, thank you so much.
Have a good night.
The next cruise night is Halloween.
Oh,
Yeah.
So we're waiting to see if they're gonna cancel that. I mean, we don't know.
Yeah.
is it gonna be a full moon? Probably.
But that's
I bet
I was like, oh, this is another 5th Friday. Thank you so much.
Okay, any other county organizations? No. How about community service organizations? Did we hear from anybody tomorrow? Okay. And no Camp Roberts?
No.
Okay. Staff and committee reports, general manager.
I have my report is submitted. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
No, sir.
Questions?
No, I gotta wait till you get to utilities though.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. District council.
And nothing to report tonight.
Okay. District utilities.
I have my report. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
We have a question.
Okay. On the booster pump and what it's on here on page 5, it says replacement and easement of the replacement of the tank. Does that mean you're gonna replace that 50,000 gallon or what's going on?
You talking about under project status?
Yeah.
That project is intended to replace the 50,000 gallon tank.
Okay, it's not the new one up there.
That one?
No, you, on Power Road.
Yeah, that's the same project.
Yeah, what I'm getting at, I was under the assumption that you had bought that property
We.
on Power Road.
Yes, we did.
Okay, but in here it says you have to check on the easement. That 50,000 gallon tank, we just have an easement up to it.
No, this says easement of proposed property was completed and granted 6/2/2025.
Okay.
So we weren't in discussion of any additional purchase or easement for the existing 50,000 gallon tank. We own the circle that the tank is on.
Yeah,
Right.
but you have an easement up to it.
No. I mean, we have a legal right to access our lines to it. We don't have a dedicated easement
Yeah,
that's been recorded anywhere.
right. But you own this, how big a diameter is that? What's that tank? Probably 25-foot diameter?
Maybe,
Yeah. So how big is your circle?
probably 24 feet. I don't know. It's fairly big enough for the tank.
Yeah. So. All right, well, like I said, I just, you said replace it. Replacement is different than building a new one. And
Well, we're replacing it with a new one. We're not replacing it with the same one.
so you are gonna replace that 50,000 gallon tank?
Yes.
In the-
At some point in the future, that
In
tank
the
will be
same, in the
replaced.
same spot
No.
where you
We're
moving?
building a new tank, which will replace that tank.
Yeah, right, okay. Well, I kinda like that tank up there on that hill. So,
Maybe they'll leave it there when we're done with it, but
yeah. All right, well, that's the only question I had on that little bit, when I was going through the packet here.
okay.
Make that tank a community art project and put murals on it or something for the spirit of San Miguel.
Well, it'd be better than with the target practice it's being used for now. So,
Yeah, it would be.
Keep it as a spare.
from the dents, probably like a 22.
Okay.
Fire chief report.
He's out of town today. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to relay them to him.
Okay. Any questions on any of the reports? Any questions, other questions on the reports, Director?
No, I do have a question for Chief Scott, or Young. Okay, there's two pickups down there. 8600, 8668. Now, I know Scott drives that 8600. Who drives 8668?
8668 is a fire truck that stays at the fire station.
No, well, unless I read the number wrong. There's two pickups down there.
8630.
8630 is the other white pickup.
Yeah, right, it's a white pickup. 8600 is the one that Scott drives.
Right.
There's another white pickup down there.
It's 8630.
Okay, who drives that?
Whoever's on call, otherwise it's at the fire station.
Yeah, well, it ain't down there that often.
Well, it's inside most of the time.
Okay. All right,
You're welcome to go down there and talk to Scott.
no, I'm just curious. So,
Anything else?
No, that's
Okay.
it, that's
Do
it.
we have any public comment on the non-district or staff and committee reports? Nope, all right. We'll move on to the consent calendar. These items listed below are scheduled for consideration as a group and one vote. Any director may request an item to be withdrawn from the consent agenda to discuss or to change the recommended course of action. Unless an item is pulled for separate consideration by the board, the following items are recommended for approval without further discussion. Any public comment on the consent calendar? No. All right. Do you gentlemen have any questions, comments?
Nothing.
Questions or comments? All right, how about a motion?
A motion that we accept the consent calendar.
A second.
I have a motion on the floor to accept consent item 8.1, 8.2, and 8.3 by Director Smiley, second by Director Davis. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Hearing none.
Okay, we'll move on to board action items. Monthly claim details investment reports for September 2025.
You have the reports as submitted. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay. Questions or
No,
comments?
I've got that ready, and it's fine with me.
Any questions or comments on this item, Director?
Yeah, I think it would be the right time to do that because it's, kind of like a claim. What I'm wondering about is, the, extra money that you want us, or maybe I'm on the wrong one. It should have been on, utilities. But
What's your question?
well, what I was wondering, but it's down on item number 4 of the $54,000 that you want to pay for more consulting.
Oh, we should wait for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Okay. Nothing beyond that? Okay. Is there any public comment in this item? There is not. I don't have any questions or comments either. I would motion to receive and file.
A motion that we receive and file.
Yeah, just consensus. Davis?
Yes.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 2, adopt the district bill payment policy, resolution 2025-33.
This item is to review and adopt Resolution 2025-33, adopting a bill payment policy for the district. The purpose of this policy is to clarify and codify procedures for the acceptance of payments against debts owed to the district. Though the district offers multiple ways to pay debts owed to the district, some payment attempts fail due to non-sufficient funds, incorrect information, or simply failure to comply with agreed upon payment arrangements. The proposed policy clarifies the ways that a person can make a payment. It also clarifies the number of times that they can have a failed payment of any sort or type that before they are prevented from making that type of payment again. It also relates to payment arrangements and your obligation to comply with a payment arrangement. If they don't comply with payment arrangements, which are terms that essentially they set on how they can repay what they owed or are behind on, then further payment arrangements will be withheld for a period of 12 months. So if you have any other questions, I'd be happy to discuss them with you, but that is what we're adopting today.
No questions.
Director?
I read through that. I can't really see too many changes.
Well, that's good. We tried really hard to make it so you don't have changes.
Yeah, but I mean, it sounded fair. I don't know where it come to where you'd have to shut somebody's water off.
Well, the termination of service follows the policy, or the billing policy.
Yeah.
And under state law, we have obligations to provide notice for 60 days, 30 days, 24 hours, or 48 hours, 24 hours.
Yeah.
So essentially, somebody has to be behind and refusing to pay for 60 days before we can really do anything.
But if they're trying to pay, even though they not gonna get it all caught up, they're giving you a little bit every now and then.
So for the people that we have that generally just pay and they're always behind, they always stay one step ahead of the 60 days so that they don't get shut off. They are getting numerous door hangers because they're always behind, which costs money, but they're not getting shut off. So somebody has to get to 60 days. We have to go through the whole process of notifying them that they're past due and providing the additional notices. If they still don't pay, then they'll be terminated. We don't have many people that get to that point and go through the whole process and get terminated.
And then if they're, for every bill, if they're behind and everything, they're still getting that 20% tacked on, or 10%, whatever it is.
It's 10% the first month and 1% for any month after that.
Oh,
So it's, after the first month, it's 1% on whatever's owed for that month's debt forever.
Yeah.
So if you never pay it, then it's 1% forever.
okay, thank you.
My comments are, this reads in a way that it's pretty punitive, to be honest. It feels like, if I were just a ratepayer reading this, I would feel like if I were late or missed a payment, that God was going to come strike me down by lightning because I didn't pay my bill. That's how I feel when I read it, because you're saying if someone has an issue twice in 6 months, then they can't use that form of payment for a year. So it could be 18 months that they can't use that form of payment because they've been trying to catch up for 6 months. And it says that in every form of payment. Well, what if every form of payment, they've had an issue with twice in 6 months? So now they can't pay their bill at all and they don't get water? I mean, at the end of the day, we have 922 accounts. From what I read, there are 17 that are past due. So it doesn't seem like there's a significant number of people who are past due, but this is, it just feels very punitive to me. It doesn't feel like we would collaborate with them and their only, recourse is to bring it to the board. So yes, there are only 17 people who are past due, or 17 accounts past due, I shouldn't say people, 17 accounts past due. But at some point, we could be seeing 17 people here at the board asking for a solution.
So in reality, we don't have 17 people that have this problem. You know, people who are just chronically behind on their bill, that's not the problem. That's not what this policy is really for. This policy is for people who chronically send us checks that they know are bad, that we end up spending a lot of time correcting. People who go online and then cancel a transaction at the last second so that they don't get shut off or get a penalty, but then the next day we have to go through the same process and reinstate the fees and reinstate all of the other things that go along with that. Or people that just generally put in bad information and they do it chronically. Those are the types of people that this is driven towards. We try to work with all of our customers. If something happens and it's a mistake, that's fine. You generally don't have the same mistake over and over and over and over and over again. And that's what this policy is driven towards. Basically, the 12-month period is to prevent them from doing it over and over again. I mean, we can make it a shorter period, but there is other options to pay. If you have a problem paying by check and you chronically are giving us a non-sufficient check, then you can pay by money order, you can pay by credit card, you can pay by cash.
Well,
We've never had somebody turned away for having brought cash.
Understood. It doesn't read that way. It doesn't say that for people who are paying with bad checks, those checks will no longer be accepted. We accept cash, traveler's checks, money order, whatever. It's not saying, it's not giving you the options of what other payment forms of payment we are willing to accept. It's just, if you do this, we're doing that. If you do this, we're doing that. The whole, it's not like that's just one thing. the whole element, the whole document reads that way. So I'm not saying that, well, frankly, are the customers or ratepayers reading this anyway? Probably not. So maybe it doesn't matter in the end, but I'm saying when I'm reading it, and I am a ratepayer, that's how I feel when I'm reading it. Like I'm being punished just by reading it.
I'm sorry you feel that way. So,
what I'm saying is I would like us to feel more collaborative to the community, and not like we're here to punish you if you were on the playground too long. The point is that, we are serving them. We're serving the people who are paying their rates, which keeps this whole party going on, right?
Right.
So when I'm reading it, I'm just not feeling very warm and fuzzy like the district cares what is going on with them. For example, if someone writes you a bad check, maybe their direct deposit didn't go in from their employer. I don't know, not for me to say, but that may be an option for something that's happened and they can't control it and they're in just as much disbelief as you are, because not only did that check not go through, the other 12 checks they wrote to every other bill, including a mortgage, didn't go through because their deposit wasn't there. We have a federal shutdown currently, so it's entirely possible. But all I'm saying is that it's not really saying, we'll help you work it out. It just says, if you do this, we're doing that, and none of them are good results.
So although it doesn't appear to say it in every section regarding each type of payment under the checks, it does say that they need to pay by a different form. But also in section 10, it has appeals to the general manager, which is an option for them. Essentially, the appeal to the board is if they don't like what I have to say. That's the path for all. I'm not sure how to make this feel more inviting for people, but we do work with all of our customers. If somebody comes and says, oh, you know what, and we've had this instance before where somebody pays us by check, then they call us either the next or later that day or the next day, and then I didn't get paid, it's not going to be any good, don't put it in the bank. Sometimes we can do something about it, sometimes we can't. If we can do something about it, then we'll work with them. Sometimes it's gone to the bank already and they're going to incur the fee either way, but we won't penalize them further because they found there was a problem and they brought it up to us right away. Again, this is not to necessarily hurt the people who have some sort of a one-off thing, but we have we have multiple people that abuse the system.
I understand, and I guess my point is this, and then I'll get off your soapbox. I'm sorry? Am I taking up time or bothering you or something?
No, I'm just the handbook says 5 minutes, and I think we've been way more.